Well, hello, folks, and welcome to Voices for the Voiceless. I'm Dimitri Frederick, and I am your voice for the voiceless. And welcome to the new show, new features, new look, and trying some new things. So the show's not fully ready yet to do on a regular basis like I want to, but there's something important that I want to talk about on this show. Basically, as the title says, do you have your national real ID? It's a topic I'm going to talk about in a few minutes, but for right now, I just want to go over some key things with the show and the platform. So if you haven't done so, I know a lot of you have followed me on Facebook, on Twitter. I've actually added some additional platforms and social media that you could actually follow me, and I'll leave those links as I develop them. So nothing's fully ready yet, so this was important that I wanted to record this to let you know up front. But at the same time, please subscribe, like, comment, share, and definitely share this topic that I'm going to talk about today, because it's going to be very important coming Monday as you go into work. And for those of you who are actually going to the RMV for your driver's license and so on, you're going to have some problems and you need to know about this issue. So welcome to the show, and thank you, and I hope to do more and have a lot of great content basically lined up, scripts that I've already written. I just have had the time to actually produce them. There's a lot of other important things, as you could see what's going on with the government, so that's why I've been quiet. Just been doing a lot of stuff and just paying attention to what's going on. And trust me, I'm behind the scenes doing a lot of things, but I'm just, multitasking amongst the other projects that take precedence over what I'm doing right now. So without further ado, I want to go right into the show today and talk to you about national ID, national real ID. So recently, about a week or two ago, my wife brought to my attention her friend who put a post on Facebook about she was able to go to the RMV to get her license renewed, and then she had to go through some process that was different than usual, and that being she had to basically show proof of citizenship. Yes, she had to show proof of citizenship. Been living in the country for a long time, but even though she was American, she had to show that she's a citizen of the United States of America at the RMV. So, I thought that was wow. I couldn't believe that's happening, especially in Massachusetts, which is what kind of like stunned me, because the kind of state that we are for this to be going on, because there's a lot of commotion going on with the Trump administration that if you miss it, and that's part of, like I say, what my distraction has been, because there's so much information. I watch a lot of MSNBC, especially Rachel Mathers. I give her kudos for the work that she put into investigating the amount, like basically, avalanche of information that's coming out daily about drama, chaos, and confusion that's going on. And amongst those things is little things that may not look important on basically local level, but on national level gets precedence. And so therefore the local stuff gets actually ignored. And so this is why me, as a voice for you, the voiceless, basically paying attention to things that you should pay attention to, that's important to you and your family, that you need to keep an eye out, because if you miss it, it will tremendously impact you. So there's a lot of content, like I said, I have for this year for the show, and I want to talk about those things, but within due time. I'm doing a lot of work on the business side of things that I do. I'm actually, this is a two-part show that I'm going to focus on. And like I said, I'm going to do some things differently. I'm going to get on my computer and actually go over some key things that was, when I started, like I said, doing this, look into this, thing my wife told me, and again, I didn't take it that seriously, just more concerned. But as I did a lot of research today, I'm very disturbed by what I'm seeing and what's been going on, because This is not a Massachusetts thing. This is a national thing. If anything, it's an international, um, global thing that's taking place and that's getting ready to start because it hasn't been done. And I'll talk about that in details in a few minutes. But I want to go over to my screen to actually walk you through some stuff that you should be paying attention to come Monday because it's going to impact you tremendously. So let's look at the computer screens.
Okay, folks. So I'm back. So I'm actually on my desktop right now, getting ready to show you the website. Now, I've been researching this, like I said, for 2 days now because it was Saturday afternoon when I was starting to look more into this issue of national real ID. You know, how serious and how real is this thing? So I said, let me go to the city's website, the I guess, .gov and RMV's website to get more details about it. So since you know, doing all this research, and now it's Sunday. It's actually 6 o'clock or so. I'm recording this right now, and the website has changed. So luckily, I took the initiative to actually um, put some things, cut and paste some of the images from the website so you could have an idea of what has transpired overnight. And right now, when you first went into the website, you was seeing two banners. And actually, I'm gonna take my camera off so I could have you see this full screen. And these two banners basically um, was one saying this about the maintenance that they're doing, and then the second one was basically showing the image. I'm gonna close this out. This was the second banner that you saw of alerts to let you know that on March 26, 2018, which is Monday, um, to get your new license, driver's license, your ID card, or learner's permit, you need to show proof of your citizenship. So, as you can see on the site, it says read more. And so, of course, every time you click on the read more, it took you to another page. I'm going to take this off too. It took you to another page with the same information. Again, in order to get your eyes, so it wasn't telling you anything more in detail. But when you click on that again, it took you to this page. So, and then the website basically scrolls down with the same information. So this is what's happening right now. So this is again the city's website, and actually um, within this time frame, they've actually put back some of the information because they had removed this whole page out. So again, in the detail side of what they put in, what that defines you having a legitimate license. So lawful presence is one of the terminology they use. So basically talking about having a green card instead of saying that a permanent resident, they just call it lawful presence. So as you can see, lawful presence means that a person is legally living in the United States according to federal immigration laws. All U.S. citizens and lawful permanent residents have permanent lawful presence in the U.S. Non-resident, non-U.S. citizens who are studying, working, or living temporarily in the U.S. may have temporary lawful presence that may vary in length. And basically, um, in the other details I've read, once your license expires, your visa or your permanent residence that you have expires as well too. So whether or not you're gonna have to go back and reapply for all these things, to me, it's all just bureaucracy and red tape so that you could actually find meaningful ways for ICE to deport people out of this country. So for a U.S. citizen, says you need to have a valid, unexpired passport is sufficient of proof of lawful presence, which that means that you traveling within the United States. So going to the airport, you're gonna still need to have a passport. So it's not like going to Caribbean Islands or another country, Canada or so on, to have a passport with you. You need to constantly now have your passport to travel. So for permanent residence, a valid permanent residence card or green card is sufficient for proof of lawful presence. I'm gonna tell you right now that's a lie because I'm actually gonna leave you a link to another video that someone did, and actually it was the news. One of the news stations actually posted on YouTube how this old lady who's German was not able to get her own license renewed, and she was even unaware. This is a different state because, by the way, this is new for us in Massachusetts, but for a lot of people, like in Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, Nevada, New Jersey, and Texas, they've already been going through this. So, California, I believe it was January, they actually, after 2017, they actually started implementing this. So, with so much going on in the economy with Trump's chaos left and right, distraction, pivoting from one chaos from another. These things are not covered by the mass media because again, it's entertainment as well. It's viewership. And so you as the individual person here in Boston or in these nearby states that's already been affected, no one's really paying attention and bringing awareness to this situation because it's serious. So further on, this is what the new ID is going to look like. And this is where the disturbing process of what I'm seeing is scary. And for those of you who don't know your history, I'm going to give you a little quick history of why these, especially this is scary to me. Um, so what a real ID looks like says that it's going to have an indicator on the card with a star to designate that it is a federal compliant card. A star, folks. Next, the standard driver's license you're going to get is if you basically are not a U.S. citizen, if they're even going to issue you that. Because now it's going to indicate that for federal IDs to designate that it is not a federal compliant card. What does that mean? It simply means that now it makes it very easy for TSA to work with ICE. So when you get pulled over instantly, they don't have to fight with you. Oh yeah, well I guess we could let you go or detain you, this and that. Now they could instantly validate that. Oh yeah, your license is up to date, but it also says that you're not a U.S. citizen. So therefore, let's deport you. And that's what's going on right now, folks. So now you are a star on your license. And actually, I just renewed my license I think a year or 2 years ago. So 2020, I have to get a new license. Everybody has to get a new license because that's what's being mandated by the TSA, and that was based on the recommendation. So some of the important details is to look at this. October 2020 is when we as the United States need to be in compliance of this law. So let me give you a little quick history because like I said, I'm gonna get to more details in part two. So definitely watch the second part two. It's gonna be on my other channel. I'll leave you the link when it's available. You can watch it because from an entrepreneur standpoint, there's a lot of key things that I want to tie together on this show that is more relevant, and that's why I separate my shows so that Voices for the Voices is non-business related. Some things of interest, like I've done in the past, I've decided to break apart my shows so I could focus more on things pertaining to entrepreneurship, so people who with entrepreneur mindset can understand fully the details and intricacies of what I'm talking about because they're very much related, folks, and you need to understand that. So going back to this October 2020 deadline. So from my research, it looks like the TSA basically um, from the 9/11 aftermath of 2005, this was the end result report that they came about that we need to do this in order to actually um, determine people who have multiple licenses, multiple U.S. citizenships, papers or documentations. They wanted to streamline it so that they know it's already federally verified that this is your only ID that you have. That was the intention. Now, in my book, Why Entrepreneurship? What is it all about? I talked about stuff like this in the sense that when government passes laws that's neglected, overlooked, they change things around. So, I call it cause and effect. it started for one purpose and it changes over time and to have a different meaning, which is what happened because this is the end result of 9/11 back in 2005. That was the report that was brought to President George W. Bush and Jr. Excuse me, and President Bush did not act on this decision, this um, policy to start having people have a star or designated not for federal ID because they knew what this meant really. And again, it goes back to compassion for humanity because if George W. Bush Jr. couldn't do it, Obama himself couldn't find himself to enforce this law. But guess who did? President President Trump. As of 2017, taking over as the next president, he quickly started talking about immigration. You saw what happened instantly, trying to, without no regulation, no laws, no, discussions, no meetings, no cooperation amongst the different departments across the United States government. He instantly passed, with Jeff Sessions, of course, this law to ban immigrants from coming to this country when we know that it was more about a Muslim law. So here goes again, people, and you can watch that second video because I'm actually going to leave a link to another gentleman who he goes by the name of Grindale61. He actually, I watched his video because it was very detailed, and you'll see some of the things I'm talking about right now of what he said because that video shows you, you know, okay, one intention for basically to stop terrorism coming about into our United States country, which I can respect that as a citizen myself. But over time, here's what this law has come to become. So those who knew really what was behind that law, like President Obama and President Bush Jr., they did not enforce it. But here we go, Donald Trump enforcing this rule so that now you could find more ways to disperse people out of this country. So it's very sad, but this is what this country is turned into. So now I'm going to switch over because I have some more information to share with you. Because one of the sad things, you know, of this, like I said, this star is a reminder of two books that I read in school. One of those books is called The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. That book definitely stayed in my mind because if you never read it, if you're young, probably, it was a book that, actually, both of them are books that required reading in high school. And I definitely enjoyed that book. It was a very passionate book about a love story, more or less, of someone who had an affair. And this is back in the Puritan days. This lady had an affair with, I think it was a married man, I believe, at the time, and therefore she was persecuted by having to be forced to wear a scarlet letter A on every outfit that she wore toward the community so that people will shame her and make her look bad for what she did, having an affair with a married man. Sounds familiar? Because that's what that star is trying to tell me, that now we are basically gonna mark people to determine whether or not, you know, you should be shamed or be forced, be targeted to be easily taken out of this country. So the next book that I read, which is another favorite of mine, as well as many people who actually been persecuted to the Holocaust, because many of us know what this means, this symbol, Star of David, which actually um, cost millions of people's lives because Nazism took over Germany and basically um, killed millions of people. And Anna, the story of Anna Frank, the diary of Anna Frank, diary of a young girl, which is Anna Frank, lived a short life. She basically hid and just wrote a diary, basically, of her life that she was living in fear of being caught. And she was, and her family was later on caught and basically passed and killed, you could say, for just being a human being, and because of hatred. This is where we're heading, folks. This is where the situation is getting seriously disturbed. And so that's the um that's the end of what I want to talk about in this video. But I truly want you to make sure you understand what's at stake for you and your family if you don't take action and actually um, do not participate in the elections coming about, the midterms elections, and so on. But you should definitely share your outrage of what this new license is enforcing, because part two of this video, again, the title will be the proof of citizenship itself. And you basically gonna hit some more nitty-gritty things, like I said, that's gonna tie everything together about what's going on with our job marketplace, because that's the scapegoat that's being used for you as a citizen who may be middle aged, maybe being downsized and don't know what's going on, and therefore you want your jobs back. And I believe and I respect that everybody wants a job back. But guess what, folks? The jobs that you are used to are not coming back. And that's the thing I'm going to talk about in part two of automation, and how these things that are being portrayed by, whether it's politicians, by our presidents, whoever it is, they are impacting your life and your children's life, because people are forsaking justice for injustice. So they could say that, well, these are the immigrants, these are the people that's actually taking away our jobs. And the fact of the matter is, folks, it is not. It is basically a machine, a robot, an automation. And part two, I'm going to get into the details. Some things are scary. If that's why, again, if you don't have the tough skin to go through some of the things that I'm going to have to share with you about the truth of the matter is with technology and what's going on in the corporate world today, don't watch the video, but I encourage you, for at least your children's sake, to watch it, because you need to hear the truth of what's happening to people. And that's what I've been researching and doing a lot of work on the back scene of things. And time is short, time is running out, and we have a crisis on our hands. Again, I appreciate you watching this video. I'm going to leave you some other links at the bottom of this video. If you like this video, please share it with other people and inform them what's going on. Definitely subscribe to my show. Again, I don't have a lot of content there on both sides. I'm transitioning to a lot of stuff I'm doing, so just hang in there with me. More information, more videos are coming soon as possible. So I'm doing my best, as well as trying to get all this information. I have a lot of scripts that I've actually written. I just need to record the videos to them as well. Hang in there, like, share.
Hey, thank you for watching the show. I would love to get your feedback so I can improve and serve you better in the quality of the content I deliver to you. You can do so by simply leaving me a comment below, like, subscribe, and share this video. And one last thing, don't forget to ring the bell so you can instantly be notified when I publish new videos. You can also find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and other social media platforms. This video was brought to you by